morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? Make sure y'all hit that like, hit that subscribe, share this channel out with everybody you know. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm joined by my man, Jason from 161 River Ave. We're going to talk a little bit about the Yankees MLB draft and kind of get into, who they drafted. It was an interesting draft, needless to say, but what is going on, everybody? What is up? I'll just say what's up to the folks in the chat real quick. Jonathan, first in the building. What is up? Khadiza, Nosebleed, John the Beagle Dad. I see he's got his new pup there.
Congrats.
Congrats on the new pup. Hello there, Desiree. Evan Bells, MMU, member for 1 month. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. Who else we got in the chat? Looks like we got Dev Finch in the chat. What is up? What is up? And we got the Back It Up Binge podcast. What's up, JB? What's going on, dude? This is my Baltimore Orioles friend right here. So shout out to JB. But so home run derby real quick. Cal Raleigh won it last night, so congratulations to him. Good job. Cal Raleigh's he's a beast. He's an absolute beast. So got to give credit where credit is due. And as far as other Yankees news, they did sign Rico Garcia, who's a right-handed pitcher. He got DFA'd by the Mets. So, Yankees are in need of fresh arms. So they're just getting these guys to have some fresh arms in the bullpen. And then, there's all these trade rumors going on between who the Yankees have gotten in contact with or linked up with. But that'll be a conversation for a different day. There's going to be all sorts of news and rumors, a lot of clickbait stuff out there as well. So, but we'll talk about all that. But let's talk about this draft, though. I'll pull up the list here. Jason, we'll be off the screen for just momentarily. I want to get your thoughts on the draft. Let me pull up the list first, and then we'll go from there. But this is your list. Let me make this full screen. Right here. Right. So can you see that? You need me to zoom in a little bit more?
I can see it.
All right, cool. Just let me know. But this is it right here. So this is 1 through 20. So Dax Kilby, Caden Kent, Pico Khan, Core Jackson, Rory Fox, Richie Bonomolo Jr. Keep that name in your brains. He's a Bronx native. Caden Kent is Jeff Kent's son. So that's another name to look out for. Mac Hewer, Blake Gillespie, Connor McGinnis, Ben Grable, Camden Troyer, Kyle West, Brendan Stuprich, Jack Siebert, Jackson Lovett, Ryan Ozinski, Justin West, Hayden Morris, Bryce Martin, Grudzy Lanek. Hopefully I didn't butcher that name. But that's your draft, folks. That's your draft. It was an interesting draft. Would you agree with that, Jason?
I would. And shout out to Bryce Martin Grulizanek. He's also son of Mark Grulizanek, former Major League infielder. So two sons of Major Leaguers Yankees drafted.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Thanks for bringing that up.
And I got to give a shout out to Hector because yesterday he was Hector from Uptown Sports because he was reporting live at the home run derby and he caught one of Junior Caminero's home runs.
Nice.
Lifetime. So
nice.
I got to give him a shout out for that. He was good job reporting live. And then congratulations to Cal Raleigh for winning it. So really. But back to the draft, man. It was an interesting draft. We were just talking about this too. I think it was not a flashy one. It's hard to have a flashy draft when you're drafting in the bottom of a lot of these rounds, right? So, but nevertheless, they seem to have a lot of high upside players here. They drafted, of the 19 picks, 17 of them were college. One of them was high school. One of them was junior college. So they're clearly going with experience. More position players this year, 5 shortstops, and some arms. So it's definitely a more broadly spread out draft this year for the Yankees. I'm intrigued by who are going to be the diamonds in the rough.
Well, yeah, and it always sucks when the Yankees draft in the bottom of the order, but this is what happens when you have winning records every season. You're not one of the worst teams in baseball, so you don't get first dibs. So, I know the Yankees don't always, they may not get the best of the best. They may not draft the best of the best, but that's because, they always have winning seasons every year. So I guess you can say there's the good with the bad. And if the Yankees were end up being one of the worst teams, I mean, yeah, they would draft higher, but it's not always the case. But
and if I could add to your point too, just because you draft at the bottom doesn't mean you have the prospects. Just because you draft at the top doesn't mean you have the best. I mean, Jackson Holliday was #1 prospect in all of baseball. He had to get sent down twice because he was horrible at the major leagues, right? Horrible. So he's decent now. But look at Roman Anthony, the #1 prospect in baseball this year on the Boston Red Sox. He got sent down because he was terrible. It doesn't always translate up as quickly as you think. And why do I bring that up? Because a lot of folks recently are talking about Spencer Jones. He's not on the top 100 right now, but George Lombard is. Look at Spencer Jones. Everybody wants Spencer Jones at the trade deadline. Everybody.
Yeah.
And there's another comparison to him, Aaron Judge. He was also not a top 100 prospect at any point in time. But look at him now.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, just because you're ranked somewhere that's not going to always translate, because playing at the Major League Baseball level is always going to be a lot different than playing in the minors. You're not going to put up the same numbers. That's not always a guarantee. So yeah, you do have a valid point, right? Because many times I've brought it up on my channels or on my shows where people, folks will remember how like Vivas got called up a couple times and he just rode the bench and fans were pissed off because he wasn't getting playing time. Well, he got some playing time when Jazz was hurt. How do you do? Mm-hmm. And that's not an insult to or a diss, right? For lack of a better word, to Vivas. It just goes to show that you go from minor league baseball to major league level. You're not gonna perform right out the gate. It's gonna take time. So
and it's testament to player development for the Yankees too. Which team gets looted every year more than any other team in the Rule 5 draft?
Yankees. Oh, 100%.
Everybody wants Yankees prospects from the Rule 5 draft.
Yeah. So you can't say. I mean, you can't say that the Yankees. I mean, teams are always looking at the Yankees, whether it's like any of their guys in the Rule 5 draft or some of their guys that are currently playing. Like, now they're all, a lot of these teams are asking for Spencer Jones, right? So it's like, there's something that the Yankees are doing. I mean, as far as developing players, I think right now, because I'm seeing TC Stills' comment. He's saying, it's hard to have faith in the draft and this organization developing players. Very, very few work out. Well, I think this time around, I think they're doing a better job of drafting players. Whereas in the past, I didn't have a whole lot of confidence because it was they weren't really drafting well. But I think they also got a new scouting team, right? So, but I think they've been doing a lot better in drafting players. How they develop, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. But I know. Obviously, using Hal's words, I know he wants to utilize the youth a little bit more and have these guys come up through the draft and then spend money because we know he wants to cut back, right? He's made that very well known. We'll see if it happens. But and Coach Carl, I remember Coach Carl.
There he is.
Yeah, there he is. He says, I heard every team has asked for Lombard in every trade. Would you trade him for anyone? It better be
Jose Ramirez.
Huh?
Jose Ramirez, the only bat I would trade him for.
I'll make that exception. I would totally make that exception. And then I've always said, and people have asked, what about Spencer Jones? I'm like, I better get Paul Skeens back.
I'm not giving him up for Eugenio Suarez, and that's all due respect to Eugenio Suarez.
Yeah.
He's a rental,
right? Right.
And Spencer Jones and George Lombard to me are two at the very top of the offensive profile of the Yankees, right? And again, you could see how the skill sets translate as you get promoted from single A to double A to triple A. People sometimes take longer. Sometimes people adapt immediately. I didn't think Spencer Jones was going to adapt right away to triple A, but he is murdering the ball in triple A. Okay? It took him a while to adapt to double A, just like it's taken George Lombard a while.
Right.
Double A. So developmentally, their skill sets are different, but they've got to translate at each level to get promoted, to justify promoting them, right? And at the major league level, all those things have to be clicking at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not giving up top prospects for rentals. Like I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. I understand the Yankees want to win now, and I know fans want a championship now. I get all that, but I'm not sacrificing future stars for 2-month rentals like that. No, like absolutely not. No freaking way.
I'm not giving up Cam Schlittler either, but I can't fault the Arizona Diamondbacks for asking.
No,
they're going to ask for the stars. Cashman's going to come in at the clouds. They're going to have to meet somewhere in between, right?
Yeah. But, and that's the thing, man. It's like, okay, so if you're not trading away these guys, play these guys then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Find a way to play these guys because, don't waste away their years and their talent. Like let them, develop these guys and bring these guys up. They did it with Judge, right? Right now they're doing it with some of their pitchers. They did it with Clark Schmidt. Unfortunately, he's out for the season now, which it sucks. They called up Cam Schlittler. He looked pretty impressive in his first outing, but again, manage expectations. They're utilizing Dominguez, even though a lot of fans are really complaining about Dominguez not playing every day, but he's still performing. Dominguez is still performing. It's not like he's playing once a week where they used to kind of do this with some of their other guys, right? He's getting plenty of playing time. I mean, right? So
yeah, and to your point too. I mean, Dominguez has had some injuries over the last couple of years, right? So
sure.
Having him go from 50 at bats to 600 is a jump, right?
Big
so
time.
I'm actually glad that they have Trent Grisham here this year to alternate between him and Jason Dominguez. So because it gives Dominguez a step in the progression that we need him to get to at some point, right? And I know a lot of fans are frustrated about him being moved up and down the line, but the fact is they have to make room for him, for Grisham, for Ben Rice, so he will be moved up and down in the lineup. Unless they get a guy like Suarez, you can plug in the middle of the lineup. That makes it easier to sit Dominguez at the top of the lineup on an everyday basis. But until they get that reliable bat in the middle of the lineup, which they don't have, they're going to continue to move him up and down the lineup. So, but I understand fans' frustration about him not playing more, but he's playing a heck of a lot more than he's ever played. So,
well, I just looked up Dominguez so far, man. He's got 271 at bats.
Yeah, so he's on pace to get like 500.
He's on pace to get 500. That to me is a lot of at bats for a rookie. I mean, what do you think?
I agree. And again, what's the most at bats he had before this? 50, 60?
Yeah, that's not it's not much.
It's not because of what? It's because of injuries, right? So it's still a big sample size. So, and then the reason why I say that is because I want to keep him healthy if he stays here. So I don't want to throw him to the Wolves, just like I don't want to throw Stanton to the Wolves. Have him play every single day. I want him to have a weekly day or 2 days weekly that we can take a breather. And then we played Ben Rice and we played Jason Dominguez. We played some of these other guys. So because Ben Rice is also, I want to gradually phase him into if he happens to be the first baseman next year. I want to ease him into the progression. I don't want it to go from 50 at bats to 600 also, just like Dominguez.
Would Ben Rice?
Yeah, he's another one that we need him to. I think it's a logical transition for him too. But Ben Rice, he's got a little bit more of a sample size from last year than Dominguez, but nevertheless, I still think he's going to get 400 at bats this year.
So here, give you an idea. Ben Rice is at 264 at bats. He's got 7 less. So, he's also on pace to get almost 500 at bats too. So for those folks that are complaining about Dominguez and Ben Rice not getting playing time, well. They're almost at the same number of at bats,
and it's not like Grisham's thinking up the place. His offensive profile is just as good as Dominguez is. So he's been probably one of the better number 4 outfielders in the game this year. Do I think he'll walk this year? Yeah, I think he'll walk, which opens up more opportunity for Dominguez, obviously. But I think that transition piece, I think we're lucky to have him this year. His veteran presence and his glove and everything too. So
you want to know how many at bats Grisham has?
How many?
267.
So he's got less than these other guys.
He's got 3 more than Ben Rice, a little less than Dominguez. So help me out here.
That's what I'm talking about, right? This is we need to paint for folks because it gives them a better perspective on stuff. And it's just look at Grisham's stats. and Ben Rice's stats. They're both projected to probably get 25 home runs this year.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Rice is at 14. Grisham is at 16. I believe Dominguez is like at 8.
8, okay.
So again, this whole thing of like Grisham is getting more playing time. Dude, Dominguez has more at bats.
Yeah.
Than Grisham does. So again, help me out. What am I missing here?
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. Like this, I love painting this picture out because, and I know it drives certain fans crazy because a lot of fans like to go with the narratives, right, and the talking points. But like, this is the stuff that it's important for folks to understand. So thank you for pointing out, bro. Appreciate that, man.
Nah, absolutely. Well, it was just like it just was one of those things where I never. Well, I don't want to say I never, but I didn't pay attention to the at bats. And, there's always this conversation like, oh, they don't give Dominguez playing time. They're treating this guy like garbage. So I just pulled up the stats and Dominguez has more at bats than the other two guys.
Yeah.
And they're all very close to each other.
Yeah.
So, we'll also just blame Giancarlo Stanton for that because there's certain folks out there that are saying that Stanton just cooked and he shouldn't be on this team and he's taking at bats away from Ben Wright. I'm like, okay, cool. But I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But back to talk about the draft, though, the 2025 draft. It was an interesting draft, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that really caught my attention was they drafted 5 shortstops. 5 freaking shortstops. Did we? I didn't expect that. Did you expect that? Did anybody in the chat expect that? I don't know if anybody, let me know if you all watched the draft at all or paid attention to it, but 5 shortstops, that's pretty telling, man.
I think there are 2 ways. There are 2 ways that I would look at it. Number one, obviously, certain fans are going to be like, oh my God, Anthony Volpe's in trouble. He's going to get replaced and all this stuff, right? That's going to be the common sentiment of a lot of people, right? All these shortstops. But keep in mind as well, what's one of the other things that the Yankees don't have? Corner infielders.
Mm-hmm.
Translates best to corner infielders, shortstops, because they tend to be the better athletes.
Right.
You can maneuver position. So, like the guy Dax Kilby, he was their number 1 pick, high school. He's the only high school pick at number 39 for the Yankees. He's a lefty bat. And he's one of the more advanced prep bats, right? So, and his athleticism shows that he could stay at shortstop, but his arm strength or lack thereof shows he's probably better suited for something like second base. So there's 2 ways of thinking about it. So and shortstops tend to be the most maneuverable and the most tradable. And the Yankees have a robust pipeline too. And that's even a third way of looking at it is not only Volpe, but this makes it easier to trade guys like Roderick Arias, right? And the number 3, I don't remember his last name. I think it's Cedeno, the number 13 prospect. He's a 16-year-old shortstop. I think it's Manny.
I hear it. Yeah, keep talking. I'll look him up. Go ahead.
He's a 16-year-old short. They drafted him. They signed him last year as an international free agent. He was 15. So but these shortstops like Dax Kilby, he's ahead of him now. Keenan Kent, he's going to be ahead of him too. So he makes this guy and like Arias more tradable. So while a lot of people want Volpe thrown to the Grizzly Bears, I get it, but this is another way to look at it too. This gives them more options, more versatility, and the Yankees are short in corner infielders.
They are, and when you mention corner infielders, man, they only drafted 1 first baseman. That was Kyle West.
Yeah, and who do they have otherwise? TJ Rumfield. Yeah,
first base. They're really lacking in the draft. I thought maybe they would have drafted maybe 2 or 3 first basemen because they're really lacking in first base right now. I know they like when you go back to the New York Yankees, they have Paul Goldschmidt, but I highly doubt they're going to bring him back next season. I think Ben Rice is going to probably take over that position because, I know that people in the past, some folks have said that Ben Rice might get traded, but I think the Yankees are going to utilize this guy because he has versatility.
Yeah.
Right. So I think he brings some versatility to the table because he could catch, he could play first base, he could DH. So there's a scenario where I see him and, Cody Bellinger switching off because, we'll see what Bellinger does because he's got that player option. But Bellinger could play first base. He could also play the outfield. So, again, that versatility. But, we're drafting 5 shortstop, though. I think they're I'm not saying that they're going to trade any of the guys that they have right now, but I'm saying this could I don't know what this means in the future, but it's still like interesting. And I'm surprised they didn't draft any, they only drafted one first baseman. They only drafted one second baseman and one outfielder, five shortstop and like 6 pitchers, 8,
something like that. Kyle West, their pick 404 was an outfield / first baseman.
Yeah.
And Camden Troyer, who's a strictly outfielder, college. And then you have Richard Bonamola, who's the guy that you said that we should keep our eyes on. He's a Bronx native. He's from the University of Alabama. So those are the more, noteworthy outfielders, position players that they drafted. But like the second pick they have, pick 104, was Keenan Kent. He's the son of one of the best second basemen ever, Jeff Kent.
Yeah, Jeff Kent. Yep.
He's a senior from Texas A&M. So, and like with the college guys, they're more physically developed. Their skill set's more established than high school bats. So I could see him, translating more. And he's got positional versatility. He plays short, he plays second, he plays first. So his is another option. And with these college seniors, and most of the guys they drafted were juniors and seniors in college, their path to potentially the major leagues is shorter than some of these younger guys. Mm-hmm. So these are guys that they can maybe move to corner positions and have them higher up in the system, which they don't have now. So, and because I think they did miss on, like, some of the best third baseman and first baseman were high up in the draft. So they missed the opportunity to get these guys. And I get that. So, but Keenan Kent is another guy. Again, he's a lefty, he hits lefties extremely well. So, and his skill set translates well as a contact guy, just like Dax Kilby. These guys are good, two good contact guys. And the Yankees have had, inabilities to have contact hitters at shortstop for a little while now, right? So
yeah.
Contact guys, and
that was something I was noticing because those are the two guys I looked at. I wanted to look at Kilby because the Yankees had drafted him in the first round, and I wanted to look at obviously Caden Kent because I'm like, oh, dude, this is Jeff Kent's son, and Jeff Kent was a beast himself, when he was playing, and I did notice that they were both big contact hitters. They're able to get on base. That's something that the Yankees need, right? On this team. They show signs of that right now, but I feel like it's just not as it's consistent. They get runners on, but it's just scoring runners in scoring position where there's some games they do extremely well. Then there's other games where they just kind of like, drop the ball, right? They kind of depend a little bit too much on the long ball, on the home run ball. But, seeing guys like Caden Kent and Dax Kilby, I mean, these guys have good contact with their bats.
Yeah.
With Kilby, I was watching him like take ground balls, and from shortstop. It did seem like he's better suited for second base. I feel like that.
It seems like his arm strength isn't there.
Yeah. No. Right? No, I wasn't really that. I wasn't like, oh, look at this dude's arm strength, because the way he was throwing the ball at first base, I'm like, he might be better off. He's better profile for second base, I thought.
And I think they'll develop that over time anyway. But I do think his positionally, he'll probably be better suited. His path will be easier at second base, because if George Lombard is going to be eventually a future shortstop, he's going to be blocking this guy anyway at short. So, if Lombard's the future at shortstop, if he is, nobody right now is going to get in front of him.
Yeah, so, Lombard Jr. is he's your future shortstop. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt. And Lombard Jr. is hungry. I think he's, I don't want to say he's ready to go right now, but the dude is, he wants it. He wants it. You can tell. Yeah,
I mean, and to Coach Carl's point, too, Bellinger play. He could play first base next year. Mm-hmm. If he stays, he could, or he could play some outfield and some first base, right? Mm-hmm. Which would have, because you wouldn't have Trent Grisham back. So and don't be surprised if they trade somebody like Everson Pereira in a trade for an arm or something like that too. So because he's kind of blocked as well, right, by Dominguez, Spencer Jones, and eventually Bellinger if he stays. So. He could play some first base. I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but he has all the showings of a super duper elite defensive outfielder. So
Spencer Jones?
Yeah, I'm not. Cody Bellinger.
Oh, Bellinger defensively. Yeah.
Jones is another one. He's a super elite outfielder too. So these guys have a very, very, very good, robust defensive outfield. So Ace,
what up, Ace? What's going on, bro?
Ace is Spade. What's up, man?
What up, Ace? Shout out to my man Ace. What's going on, bro? Make sure you all go check him out.
So I mean, it's if Bellinger comes back here, I wouldn't be surprised if he got a decent amount of reps at first base. While Rice most likely would get the majority of the reps if they don't bring Paul Goldschmidt back.
That's going to be an interesting offseason, because there's a lot of that's a puzzle right there.
What? And the other thing too, these draft picks, they're not only for trade deadline trades. They're for off-season trades. They're for development. They're for these guys are down the line, can be moved here too. Yeah. So, I don't think they'll trade any of these draft picks in this deadline. They might trade somebody from last year's draft at the deadline,
sure,
to get a valuable piece. But who, I don't know. It's most likely going to be an arm, I guess. So, and we'll see. I don't know. With Suarez, if the Yankees can get Suarez without having to give up some of their top kids, then I'm okay just getting Suarez without the pitchers. I don't need Zach Gallen. Just give me Suarez, period.
I'm looking at their top 10, right? The Yankees' top 10 prospects, and if we're talking about trading one of their prospect pitchers in a package to get Suarez, there's also Zach Gallen's name that's been mentioned too, or Merrill Kelly, but Zach Gallen's name has been mentioned more. I see, if you're talking top 10, here's some pitchers. So Ben Hess, I think they're not going to mess with Ben Hess. I think they're leaving Ben. I think Ben Hess is going to be part of their future plans. You could perhaps see Bryce Cunningham. Maybe.
Yeah.
He might get thrown in. There's Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, who they had traded for to get from the Red Sox. He could be a guy. He's in Double-A right now. Chase Hampton's not going to get touched. Obviously he's recovering from Tommy John. But the other three, the 8, 9, 10, you got Brock Selvage, Henry Lalane, Cam Schlittler. So I could see maybe a Selvage or a Lalane getting traded, but definitely not Schlittler. But maybe you might see Lalane or Selvage, and I could see Lalane getting traded before Selvage.
And Lalane is, where is he? Low A?
Lalane right now is he's at A. It says A, so single A.
I thought he'd be a little bit further along with his size at the moment, but he hasn't taken that step yet. So I could see him being traded. Selvage is a solid prospect too, so I could see him being traded. But I think they're going to keep Hess and keep Bryce Cunningham. But you never know. They're like one of the undrafted free agents that they signed this morning was Tommy O'Rourke, was one of Bryce Cunningham's teammates at Vanderbilt, a right-handed pitcher. So something to keep an eye on too. But Cunningham, he's highly touted, and these guys are both in the top 10 already, him and Hess. And he were only drafted last year. Yeah,
I know. And these guys were drafted last year. Like that's the wild part. I'm just like, okay, so the Yankees are really valuing these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's very telling. And have you brought up Vanderbilt? Did you notice the Yankees did not draft anybody from Vanderbilt?
True.
That I don't know. Because they like Vanderbilt guys. Mm-hmm. They do like Vanderbilt guys. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Spencer Jones, Vanderbilt, right? Okay, so he's one guy, right? I know they've drafted a few guys from Vanderbilt, but this draft they did not draft anybody from Vanderbilt.
Yeah, sure. They drafted a couple SEC guys though. The SEC is like a power conference now. They got, is Mississippi State in the SEC? I think it is.
I believe so.
Left-handed pitcher. University of Alabama, Richard Bonamolo.
Yeah.
Got a couple other guys from the SEC too. Arkansas.
Texas A&M, I think.
Texas A&M. So there are some SEC guys here.
Yeah.
Just not from Vandy. Yeah.
Yeah. Because usually they love their Vanderbilt guys, but this draft, none.
Everybody's moving to LSU now. LSU is the pipeline right now for the.
Yeah, that seems to be the powerhouse now. They're the powerhouse of college.
The Mariners, they drafted that kid, their top pitcher from LSU. They signed him 30 minutes later after they drafted him. They already agreed to an $8 million deal with him. Their third pick, the pitcher from LSU.
The Yankees?
30 minutes. The Mariners after they signed.
Sorry.
Cade Johnson, I think his name is, or Cade something. The number 3 pick in the draft. He was a top college pitcher. 30 minutes after they drafted him, he was already signed to an $8 million deal. I've never seen it happen that quickly. Never. But that's from LSU. You know who else came from LSU? Paul Skeens.
Skeens, yeah.
So
yeah. No, I mean LSU is. I mean they're known for their football, right? LSU is known for football, but it looks like they're coming out with some good baseball product too, man. So so watch out. Watch out. I'm gonna try and pay a little bit closer attention to LSU for sure. But the SEC though in general is just like, they're putting out some players, man.
I don't know what they're feeding these boys, man. Alligator stew. I don't know what they're feeding them, but whatever they're feeding is working. So
whatever they're eating down there in the South, man, it's like it seems to be working, man. It seems to be working. But so in terms of like this draft for 2025, like which guys caught your attention? Which players caught your attention that you're I like to see how these guys develop? And
Kilby and Kent, the first two.
Yep.
Richard Bonamola is a speedy outfielder from University of Alabama, SEC. He got bats about 311, got a 943 OPS, 26 stolen bases, and he's a good contact hitter. He drives the ball to the gaps, and he's got a lot of speed. He's a speedy outfielder. So we haven't really had, with the exception of Spencer Jones, many speedy outfield prospects. So, and he's developed too. He's a junior, so he's 21 years old already. So he's not that far away from, at the very least, being in AA. So he's a guy that stood out to me. Who else stood out to me? There was another guy. Oh, here he is. Blake Gillespie, a right-handed pitcher from Charlotte, University of Charlotte. He was 7-4 with a 2.51 ERA, but he had 131 strikeouts and 100 innings pitched. 131.
That's
big. That's big-time strikeout numbers. Big-time strikeout numbers. So the Yankees like these big arms, right? They like big arms. And the guy that I mentioned to you earlier, the undrafted free agent, Logan Maxwell, and another outfielder from the University of Arkansas, another SEC guy, batted 356, 454 on base, 605 slugging, 13 home runs and 5 steals, and he kills the ball in the zone. So they have a couple of intriguing outfield prospects now they got to sign him first, but they signed this kid. They haven't signed anybody from the draft just yet, but these are undrafted free agents that they signed this morning. So they're in the stable now. Those are the guys that stood out to me.
Yeah, for me, like I said, I didn't get a chance to look at all these guys, but I looked at Rory Fox, who's the left-handed pitcher, Kate Khan.
Yeah. Pico Khan.
Pico Khan, thank you. I know he had a cool first name. So Pico Khan, Dax Kilby. Dax Kilby's a cool name. That is a
James Bond name. What's your name? Yeah. Kilby. Dax Kilby. That's a
Dax
James
Kilby.
Bond name.
It's like Dax Kilby. Yeah, don't mess with me, man.
Oh.
But yeah, him, Caden Kent, Rory Fox, and then Pico Khan. Pico Khan though stood out to me, right? I was telling you, he's a left-handed pitcher. Because I'm a lefty too. I'm a southpaw. So anytime there's left-handed pitchers, they're always gonna catch my attention. But me being a southpaw as well. But with Pico Khan though, I like his presence, dude. His presence on the mound. He's got a good frame, good height. He's 6'4". I was watching his highlights a little bit last night, and
he also has 114 strikeouts and 80 innings pitched. Another strikeout guy.
That's insane. Yeah. And, he had a lot of swing and miss stuff. So, his whiff is going to be really good. And he catches a lot of guys looking. Mm-hmm. He catches the batters frozen. He throws that fastball right down the middle. And the batters are just frozen. They're just hesitate. They don't move. So that's something that caught my attention. Yankees need some guys like that right now.
From lefties, especially lefties. They have more right-handed pitching prospects than left-handed pitching prospects.
Yeah, and they do need some left-handed pitching prospects because they don't like you just said. They don't have a lot of right-handed pitchers right now or left-handed pitchers in their
in the
farm, man. So yeah, they had to attack that lefty. Rory Fox. That was another guy that I looked at. He kind of like Pico Khan. He doesn't catch people looking as much, but a lot of swing and miss stuff when it comes to him. Both of these guys have really, really good command on the mound.
And batters only bat 180 against Roy Fox. 180 batting average against.
Well, it makes sense based on. Looking at some of the highlights that I saw. He there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of swing and miss stuff from this guy. But with Pico Khan, it's a lot of swing and miss and catching people looking. And he throws that fastball right down the middle, and it's just like, crap.
Another unique characteristic of him, he has a 97-mile-an-hour fastball and an 80-mile-an-hour slider. Almost a 20-mile-an-hour differential. Nitin,
what's up, Nitin?
It's almost, when you have a differential like that, if you can develop a third pitch that's an out pitch, he'll be nasty as a
dude.
pitcher.
Yeah. And I wanted to get this. The Khadija had a question for you and I. She's asking, I have a question for you guys. If we do not give up Hess or Cunningham, what we give up for Suarez and Zach Gallen or Merrill Kelly? Well, if it ain't Hess or Cunningham, it's gonna. I'm giving up. If we're talking pitching, if we're talking top 10, Lalani and both Selvage and Lalani are there. I'd rather give up Lalani than Selvage because I do like Selvage.
And think about this too. What position is Suarez? Third base.
Third base, right.
I'm not going to give them an outfield prospect when they have a boatload of outfielders already.
Right.
So I would give them, here's Oswald Peraza, who can fill in right now for Suarez, while you also develop Roderick Arias. I give them Suarez and Arias and add those pitchers. Something like that. That, to me, is a more sensible position per position trade, in my opinion. That's kind of how I would go. Because at the end of the day, I don't think if the only way you can get Suarez and a pitcher is by giving Jones and Schlittler or something like that, then I just want Suarez. I don't want the pitcher. I'll get a pitcher somewhere else. Okay? Or I'll just go with Schlittler or something like that. Or somebody like Adrian Hauser from the White Sox, who's also going to be a free agent and won't cost as much. Who was also better stats than Gallen, better stats than Merrill Kelly does. So this year on a crappy team.
Yeah, Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly don't necessarily. Zach Gallen doesn't really. He's not going to really move the needle much for the Yankees, and Merrill Kelly will be better, I think. But is he going to be that big of a difference? I don't think so. Just give us Suarez because we need the. We'll get the Yankees could get the pitching from another team. I don't think they should necessarily be glued for with the Diamondbacks for pitching. There's other options out there for pitching.
But it's a good question, Khadija. It really is. What would you? I'm curious. What would you be willing to give up?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what would you be willing to give up? Because I'm definitely not giving up Hess, Cunningham, Schlittler, Chase Hampton. Like there's no way I'm giving up any of those guys. But Lalane, I'll entertain. Shoot, I would even entertain Yorbit Vivas, right? That's another name that the Yankees could float out there. Really. So
Yankees are also getting a lot of calls right now on JC Escar, for those that haven't heard. There's more than a 50% chance he gets traded. And if he gets traded, my guess is they'll probably call someone like Rafael Flores to back up Austin Wells. Flores has a cannon for an arm. Cannon. So, but don't be surprised if Escar gets traded. I like Escar. I like his story. But he's an elite pitch framer. He'll probably go to a team that has a lot of young pitching that he can help develop. So I think he's a better than 50% chance of getting traded.
Yeah, and you know what? They asked Suarez. I think I sent you the video yesterday. They asked Suarez about hey, what do you think about being traded to the Yankees? There was all these rumors, and he was like, listen, he's like the Yankees. Yeah, he basically said they're contenders. He's like, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to help these guys win a World Series if I do get traded there. So, here he is talking about, hey, if I do get traded to the Yankees, I'm going to do everything I possibly can. So that's a message to all the fans out there that are saying that the Yankees should sell the team, which I think it was I'm sorry, but that is a ridiculous take. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Because it's like, then why, after losing out on not signing Juan Soto, after him making the decision that he made, and then, then why even pivot? Why then go after plan B? Why sign Max Fried? Why trade for Cody Bellinger? why sign Paul Goldschmidt? Then why did they pivot then? Why did they even bother making those moves? If you're saying they should sell, I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that. Then why? Then it's like, why did they make those moves? They're trying to contend. Then if they didn't make those moves, you all would have been complaining that they didn't make any moves after Soto, and now these guys are not contenders. It's just a waste of a year. Like, then there would have been those complaints, right?
Yeah, and when they sold last time, they sold Andrew Miller and Aroldis Chapman. These guys had years of control with them.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was going to be a free agent. Luke was going to be a free agent. We need to add guys with control years like John Duran or Nathan S. or Gar. I mean, if you can get Emmanuel Clase added to that back end of the bullpen, or John Duran from the Twins, that's something I would entertain. I don't think J-Ram's going to happen.
No, J-Ram is not going to happen.
No.
That's a pipe dream in my opinion.
Guardians trading the Barbarians will probably burn the stadium down. So, Clase I could see being moved.
There's a couple there. So there's a couple of Guardians starters I wouldn't mind having. There's a couple of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
They got some good stuff. They could fill in for for Clark Schmidt.
Yeah.
I think they would do a pretty decent job. I wouldn't mind a couple of those guys. Seth Lugo, sure, I would entertain Seth Lugo, but what is it going to cost?
Yeah, and he's also 35.
And he's got another a year or two of control.
Yeah, and does he move the needle more than Luis Hill will when he comes back? That's the question. Does he move the needle more than Clem Schlittler?
Yeah, and just to put it out there, I mean, he's getting paid. So he's getting paid $15 million this season, right? He's 35, and he's got a player option for 2026. So I mean, there's no doubt that he's gonna get paid that 15. He's gonna exercise that option because he's not gonna get anything better than $15 million. If he was to opt out, he's not gonna get a better deal. Not at 36, right? So because he's 35 right now, but so he's $15 million. Is he worth $15 million? That's the question. My man Custodio, what up, dude?
Custodio, what's up, man? And remember, 15 becomes 32 here. The cone threshold.
Mm-hmm.
So they're over the highest four threshold. So they tax at 110%.
Right.
Well, whatever that price is, you got to double. Even if it's prorated, you bring in, say, you take on the remaining $8 million. That still becomes 17 here.
Yeah.
Right? So that's something that needs to be factored in. To Nathan's point, too, a chance of Michael Garcia and Seth Lugo. What I heard yesterday, it's also from someone on the inside, is that if Suarez doesn't happen, then their immediate fallback is either Ryan McMahon or Brian Hayes, and no one else. So those are the immediate fallbacks for the Yankees.
Yeah.
And both would supply better defense than Suarez would. Neither one of them moves the needle offensively as much as Suarez does. So those that seem to – it's either going to be a big bat or a heavy glove, right?
Yeah.
Brian Hayes has more years tied to him, but if they do something like Brian Hayes, then maybe they're more seriously considering George Lombard as a future shortstop, right? But in the meantime, he would provide better defensive protection for Volpe, and as well as Jazz would on either side. He needs to be protected defensively from both sides. So
yeah, honestly, man, look, I don't want to try to talk about Volpe too much, but I think his I think his job may be on the line. Not right now, but as the years are coming, as the days are coming and going, Lombard is knocking on the door. That dude is hungry. So I could see him overtaking Volpe in the future. I really do. I don't know what Volpe's future is going to look like right now, but getting all these shortstops that they drafted, it tells me that they're trying to utilize the infield a little bit more. You might get to see some guys get moved potentially in the future. Mm-hmm. And there's some of those guys that you just mentioned that they drafted. They can play other positions too. So with Kilby, I think he's better suited as a second baseman. That's how he strikes me. Mm-hmm. I think he might be better at second base. So Caden Kent definitely looks like a shortstop for sure.
Does it create a sense of urgency for Volpe at all? Right? There's no reason to sign Juan Diastigen. He's the number one international.
Yeah.
He's also a shortstop. So from the Dominican Republic, he's 16, younger, but they are projected to sign him already. So that's another shortstop they're going to add to the pipeline. So I think you're right. I mean, does it create a sense of urgency for Volpe to say, dude, I got to get better in a couple areas here before the Yankees, so that the Yankees don't consider moving on from me, right? So, because he's going to have to get better in certain areas, right? Defensively, yes, he has about a third right now of the Yankees' errors this year. So, and, so I get the defensive concerns. But offensively, he's up in second baseman rankings, he's up in a bunch of the categories too. And he's projected to go, again, 2020 again. And one of the things that they loved about McMahon is why he went 2020 6 years in a row. So he's a 2020 guy. Well, Volpe's kind of trending that same direction too. So yeah, I think there are, criticisms and echoes of support for Volpe. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of it revolves around this talking point that the Yankees are fundamentally flawed, right, defensively. And if you look at it, they're on equal footing right now with the Dodgers in terms of errors. They have one less error, one more error than the Dodgers do this year.
So, and to put things into perspective, the Red Sox are leading the league in errors, if I'm not mistaken.
They're the worst fundamental defensive team, even though they were 10 games in a row.
Yeah,
they look like a contender, but they are the worst fundamentally sound team. Yes.
100%. So, yeah, I mean, and in terms of like players making errors and making mistakes or whatever, I mean, you at some point you got to hold players accountable.
Yeah,
there's only so much. There's only I know Aaron Boone gets his criticisms. I get all that. I understand. But you got to hold players accountable. And
what happened last year? They sat Gleyber Torres, right?
They did,
and he lost probably $100 million in free agency. That's the worst thing that happened for Anthony Gleyber Torres. So he's with the Tigers now. He's playing well in a low-pressure environment. I get it. But that was all but confirmation that he he wasn't a right fit here in New York anymore. So, and I get it. It was a tough thing to deal with, tough thing to say. But Volpe's errors are not for lack of effort or lack of concentration. Torres's was. They were. Different situation, right? So, different types of players. Volpe hustles. He runs hard, does things, but he happens to hit the ball into a lot of gloves. He happens to make sometimes boneheaded moves when he's diving for a ball and he has a wild throw, something like that. Those are fixable things.
They're fixable. I just think that he's his own worst enemy. That's what I think of.
Sometimes he is. Head.
Yeah, no, he gets in his own head too much, man. I think he overdoes things sometimes, and that's the frustrating part that I have with him. And
100%.
It's just, I never got into the hype train. When it came to Volpe, I was just like, I'm just kind of like let's wait and see what happens, because I don't want to get too excited, because a lot of fans were just like, oh, the Yankees said this guy was supposed to be the next Derek. I was like, I don't think anybody in the Yankees organization said he was the next Derek Jeter. I think that was just beat writers
and scouts. The Yankees, you'll never hear that from Cashman. You never hear from Hal. You never hear from Boone. You'll never hear that from them.
I never heard it from anybody in the Yankees organization. If there is, please put out a link, because I do want to see it. I really do. And I'm not just saying that just to say that. I've only read that from the beat writers or whatever. But like I said, with Volpe though, it's just he gets in his own head, and I just think that once again, Lombard Jr. is that guy. He is that guy. He plays he's slick with the glove. He's got a lot of potential with the bat. He still needs some development, though. I mean, because folks are already saying, bring up Lombard Jr. I was like, he's not going to bring you instant results.
Yeah, developmentally, you need those steps, right? So, and last thing you want to do is throw him to the wolves when he's too soon. I think Volpe's pretty much a league average shortstop. Okay, I think Lombard's ceiling is higher than Volpe's is. So
whose ceiling?
Lombard's ceiling is higher than Volpe. So I can see him being the replacement to Volpe at a certain point, but he still has, look at his stats right now. He's having some growing pains in Double-A, just like Spencer Jones did, just like Jason Dominguez did. So this is not abnormal. He's got the right temperament. He's got the right head for the game, and he's got the right willingness to work on these types of things. And I do think he'll get through it. But I think it's important for the Yankees to be patient with them, so that they're not throwing the guy up here because the same people that are trashing Volpe now will be the same people that trash Lombard if he comes up here and stinks up the place, right? Same people. So I'm pretty confident, right? And
and it's like back to what I was saying. They with Lombard or not Lombard Jr. With Yorbit Vivas when he wasn't playing, I was like, oh well, again, this guy's not playing well. Well, it's like you guys wanted him to play.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys didn't get those instant results that you're all looking for, and you're not managing your expectations. So it's just like manage your expectations when these guys get called up, because they're not all of them are going to necessarily bring instant results. Like even Dominguez, when he came up, it took him a little bit of time to adjust to the major league level this season, and he's doing phenomenal. I think he's been really impressive, and I think he's going to continue being impressive. Mm-hmm. Is every player going to be like Dominguez? No. Not all these guys are going to be Dominguez, but prospects. I mean, that's what they are. It's prospects. They have potential. They could be something. Does it always work out? No. It doesn't always work out. But I think there's some promise here with who the Yankees have, and kind of going back to the whole draft thing, like with the shortstop, right? I mean, the shortstops. So looking at, I'm looking at the prospects that they have right now. So like they have Roderick Arias. He's their number 5. They have
Manny Cedeno. Is that his name?
Manny Cedeno is number 13.
He's 16 years old. So he's at least a half a decade away.
Yeah, so they're not gonna give him away. They wouldn't. They're not gonna. He's 16. That's insane. Oh my god. Yeah. So really they only have 2 shortstops right now in their top 10, and that's Arias and George Lombard Jr.
And I think Arias is tradable now. I think he's blocked by Lombard anyway, but I think he's tradable now.
But he would you consider Arias the second base?
Not ahead of Kilby, because Kilby's got a better bat.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because a crazy thing is Arias is still in single A. Lombard got promoted to double A. So I mean that should tell you everything that you need to know between the two. So yeah. So I'm looking at the top 30 prospects for the Yankees, and honestly, they don't have a lot of shortstops right now. They don't. So the 5 shortstops, that makes a lot of sense why they drafted 5 shortstops. They still drafted some pitchers. They only drafted 1 corner infielder. They only drafted 1 first baseman. But yeah, it makes sense why they drafted 5 shortstop, because that was pretty interesting.
Well, the other thing to remember too is that when somebody gets traded, somebody's going to get called up. Somebody's need to fill the spot of the guy that got called up. So guys are going to get elevated. We're going to need some of these guys to fill in spots for other guys that were elevated, right, because of call-ups and so on. So you have like Core Jackson was the 164th pick, University of Utah. He's a college shortstop. He's a 21-year-old junior. He hit 364 this year, 445 on base, 641 slugging. His OPS was 1088. Pretty big, robust offensive stats here. 12 homers, 20 steals. He's got speed, and he's a lefty bat. So, and then Jackson Lovich was their 4th shortstop, pick 484 from the University of Missouri. He's another shortstop, but he's a 21-year-old junior again, batted 357, 1052 OPS, 12 homers, 51 ribbies, right-handed bat. So we're noticing a trend here. These guys are contact hitting shortstops, right? With a lot of contact stuff here. And their second to last pick was 614, Bryce Martin Grulazanic, who's the son of Mark Grulazanic, former Major League infielder, the shortstop from USC College. He's a more developmental guy. He's 22-year-old senior, but batted 294, 364 on base, 433 slugging. So he's still around 800 for OPS. So he's more of a developmental guy as a 20-round pick, but you could see where they can plug these guys in throughout all the levels of the system here and still be productive. But all these guys are contact bats.
Contact bats. I mean, that's like the biggest. I feel like that was like their biggest focus, right? With drafting these guys. I think it was just contact bats, speed,
100%.
Fundamental. Being defensively sound. I think these were the kind of guys that they were they were going after. And as far as pitching goes, they were definitely they were going after some left-handed pitching in this draft too, because they don't have a lot of left-handed pitching. So they're trying to build for that. Because again, I'm looking at their top 30 draft, their prospects top 30. They only had it looks like 4 left-handed pitchers. So Griffin Herring, Kyle Carr, Henry Lalane, Brock Selvage. Those are the only 4 that I'm seeing in as far as their top 30 prospects in terms of left-handed pitching. So not a lot.
My guess is Pico Khan will make the top 30.
Pico Khan?
My guess.
I really like that guy, man. I was watching some of his stuff, man. I was just like, dude, this guy is he's got a good presence on the mound. I like what he's doing.
And that Pico Khan, maybe Rory Fox from Notre Dame, he might make the top 30 as well. Beyond that, there's a lot of guys here with a lot of talent. They can focus and develop these guys throughout the system. They can move up. And like somebody mentioned, a corner infielder. The only other corner infielder that the Yankees have at a high level is T.J. Rumfield. He's the first who also plays third base, right? So he's in AAA right now. He's in AAA.
He's in AAA.
Batting 297, 10 homers, 60 ribbies. So he drives a lot of guys in. 22 doubles. So 377 on base, 481 slugging. So his OPS is 858. So he's a guy that could come in and maybe give some reps at third base too. He also bats lefty. So I know they're looking for a righty bat, but he's also could be a trade piece for a
TJ Rumfield.
Yeah, he goes.
Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, with Rumfield, I don't see a future with him in the Yankees. I don't see how they fit him in because they got Ben Rice, and I don't see. I could see the Yankees dangling Ben Rice as a trade piece, but in the past, but now I don't think so, man, because he has that versatility because he could play catcher, he could play first base, he could DH.
And this is the 4th year in the system. He was drafted in 2021.
Yeah.
So he's already in AAA, which is good. But at this point, you either have to, and he's a big boy, 6'5", 225 pounds.
He's a big dude.
You either got to get him up here and give him a shot or trade him to someone who's going to give him a shot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point of keeping him in AAA? Right? That's just my take. But Rumfield's a guy that could provide some value to a team and maybe get us a decent piece back in a trade if we're not going to use him.
He could. Ben Rice could do the same, but I don't think the Yankees are going to trade Ben Rice. And Ben Rice, there's a few games that where he played catcher and didn't look too bad, man. Actually, he did. He does call a pretty good game.
Yeah,
he did. He has good chemistry with the guys. So, no, I don't see a place where Ben Rice is going to get traded because the Yankees do love their guys who are versatile. And I'm sure Coach Carl, like some other team is going to really want, but I'm sure they will. Yeah, I'm sure they will want Ben Rice, but
if you can somehow get Freddie Peralta from the Brewers, I would be willing to give Ben Rice. But I'm not that. I would hate to trade. Like if I'm going to trade Rice or one of our top bats, I want them to go to the National League. I don't want them punching us for the decade.
No gut punches. Thank you.
No, yeah.
No, I'm good.
Too many uppercuts to the chin for us. So,
no,
thank you. But I can see why the Yankees have these guys highly touted. I want to keep them around because they could fill spots in the near future. Rice at first base, like somebody's. They could fill spots productively with a lot of years of control on the cheap. And again, which is Al's goal of lowering payroll, right? So, and that's not.
So you think Escarra will probably get traded? Is that a possibility?
I think it's more than a good possibility that Escarra gets traded.
So Escarra, and you think they'll probably keep Jesus Rodriguez? You don't think he's a guy that could get moved?
I don't know. I'm not hearing much about him.
Sure.
In terms of the trade market, but I am hearing from my buddy on the inside is that Spencer Jones's name is being brought up in almost every conversation.
I'm sure he is. Yeah, I'm sure he is getting brought up. Spencer Jones has been killing it in AAA, by the way. And
And I agree with Coach Carl too. I'd be surprised if the Brewers trade one of the top guys because they have this new young kid now they called up who's like lighting the world on fire. But he outpitched Paul Skeens a couple.
Mizorowski or something like that. That dude, yeah, freaking what a beast, man. He's a savage.
Yeah,
savage.
And to Jonathan's point too, if you can get a good third baseman for Rice,
with controllable years.
That's the thing too. A controllable years, not a rental.
Not a rental. I am not doing rentals.
I'm not moving Rice for Suarez. I like Suarez, but I like Rice more. So and that's got to be. I mean, I think Cashman holds a hard line with that type of stuff. So
yeah, and I know a lot of again, I know Cashman gets a lot of he gets a lot of criticism or whatever and whatnot, but like again, this is where I don't blame Cashman for putting his foot down and telling other teams no.
Yeah.
Like I'm not giving up these guys for for whatever the other team is offering, because the teams are always trying to fleece the Yankees. They always are. And, some folks will say the Yankees tax isn't real. No, it's definitely real. The Yankee tax is real. I don't want to hear this stuff about the Yankees tax is not real. And Custodio brings it up. Yeah, it's Jacob Mizorowski. He got a special invite to the All-Star game. So there you go.
Yeah, he pitched like 20 innings and he got invited to the All-Star game.
Yeah. I mean, he was impressive, though, against Paul Skeens. I mean, that says something. And, Susan's saying under no circumstance should we trade Jones for rentals.
No, I agree.
Soto. Well, listen, the one thing I'll say about the whole Soto thing, that needed to happen because the Yankees were desperately needed a lefty bat. And it paid off really in the 2024 season. It did.
And he wasn't acquired at the deadline. They got a full year of Juan Soto.
They got a full year of Juan Soto. There's a big difference there. Yeah. So Soto was absolutely necessary. And if anybody asked me would I do that trade again for Soto, 100% I would.
And Grisham came with him too. Grisham's giving the Yankees quite a bit of value. So I'll take that too. And speaking of value, someone asked me yesterday, should the Yankees assume, because apparently Luis Severino's name is being mentioned, should the Yankees bring him back and assume his contract? And I said the only scenario in the world that I would do that is if Mason Miller came with him.
Well, that's a good point. But yeah, you got to bring up a good point. That might be tempting, but I'm saying no to Severino though. Sorry,
I'm saying no to Severino too.
Yeah, pass on that.
Yes, you better bring Mason Miller with him. That's the only scenario in the world. And I know they're probably not going to do that.
No way. No, you kidding me?
But that's the only way I would do it.
Yeah, there's no way I want Severino by himself, but sure, if Mason Miller comes along, yeah, we might entertain it.
I'll take Severino, I'll release him. Just take the money and I'll use that money towards Mason Miller.
Yeah, there you go. But there's no way the Athletics are going to give up Mason Miller. They're trying to build a team there, so
and they have a good-looking young team there too. So
yeah. And to Custodio's point, Severino has a lot of money tied to him too.
He does $17 million a year for, I think, 3 more years. But Mason Miller also has like 4 controllable years. So, to me, it lines up. And that's the way I would look at it. I said, well, I'm just paying Mason Miller $17 million.
Because I'm looking at Severino's contract right now, dude. He's getting paid $20 million this season. He's going to get paid $25 for 26, and he's got a player option at 22, and he'll be 33. I don't think he's worth that much.
And again, at some point at the end of this year, they're either going to have to bring back Devin Williams or Luke Weaver or sign a trade for or sign a closer. One of these other guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Frankie, what's his name? Andres Munoz, a free agent.
Munoz, yeah.
Finnegan, Helsley. There's a lot of guys, but they're not going to come cheap. So this is why I'm kind of dangling that Mason Miller seed here too. So I'll just eat Severino's money, release him, send him somewhere else, and just pay that money to Mason Miller.
Yeah, another infielder I wouldn't mind for the Yankees to go after, and I've brought his name up, and he would be a lot cheaper. That's Amed Rosario. He would purely be a rental, and he'd be way cheaper because he's only getting paid $2 million this season.
And maybe you can get Finnegan to come with him.
I've been saying, man, they should call up the Nationals. They fired their GM, they fired their manager, so
yep.
Why not, man?
Both rentals. Both rentals. They're not going to cost Cam or Spencer Jones and that stuff.
Nope.
But I'll give you a couple of good prospects for that if it'll help us this year. But at the same token, I would still want them to acquire somebody like Jake Bird, who has years of control beyond that. Because if you get a Finnegan here, then you have Finnegan, Weaver, and Devin Williams all becoming free agents. We could lose all three of them and not have anybody after that. I like Fernando Cruz, but we're going to need somebody with control because like John Duran, like Clase, someone back into the bullpen.
Yeah, no, they need pitching. I mean, they need pitching desperately. So, in terms of the 2025 draft, it looks like they only drafted 8 pitchers this time.
Let's see.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Pico Khan.
Yeah. Pico Khan.
Rory Fox.
Mac Hewer. Blake Gillespie.
Eric Spencer from Texas. Ben Grable. It's 5. Brennan Stuprick, 6. Jack Siebert, 7. Ryan Ozinski, 8. Justin West, 9. And Hayden Morris, 10. They got 10 pitchers.
So 10 pitchers. So, and 2024 was 13?
Something like that.
So, and Russ Morgan from X is joining us. He says Luis Renjifo or Moncado with the Angels. It won't be Suarez. I could perhaps see that too. That could be a possibility. But
Renjifo wouldn't be any more than a utility guy here. And Moncada, they're prioritized Suarez, Russ. So I would not be surprised. I wouldn't rule the Yankees out on Suarez just yet.
I'm not either.
Suarez and a pitcher, I can't see that. Suarez by himself, I can.
Yeah. Well, so Yankees drafting 10 pitchers, though. I mean, that's still a pretty decent amount of pitchers that they still drafted, all things considered.
All college arms. None of them younger than a junior.
Yeah, all college arms. So it just, it just shows that the Yankees are not gonna. They're still, they're still drafting a lot of pitching. So, this could, what this means for the current guys that they have in their farm, we'll see. There's a couple of guys that I could see potentially getting moved. Lalani's one of them. I think he could be a guy on the move because I think the Yankees like salvage. And I could see some of these other guys down there in the prospect line like Rezelman, Vierling, Thatcher Hurd. I mean, Clayton Beater, right? These are guys that could potentially get moved. So now it's 10 pitchers that they drafted. So they're still going to develop lots and lots of pitching. So there could be some guys that could be on the move, whether it's in the deadline or the offseason.
Yeah, and part of that logic is you're trading from a position of depth to address a position of need. So that's why they would trade catchers, shortstops, and pitchers. Those are the 3 deepest positions in the Yankees.
Yeah.
In terms of their prospect depth all up and down the farm. So if you're going to see trades, most likely those players will be the ones that are going to get moved.
The ones that I just mentioned, like the Vierlings and the...
Yeah, those guys. Yeah, I would not be surprised if any of those guys get moved.
Yeah, because guys like, you look at Beater, Rezelman, Eric Rezelman, Vierling, Thatcher Hurd, Griffin Herring, Grayson Carter.
High upside.
Those guys are from 20 through 30.
Yeah, the high upside arms.
Yeah.
And there's 0 chance that they're going to give up Jones for Suarez.
They're not going to give up Jones for Suarez, man. There's just no way that's going to happen. As
much as Diamondbacks fans want that, as much as Diamondbacks might want that, that's Cashman's. Yeah.
Yeah, because truthfully, look, if they really wanted to trade Jones, they would have done it for Corbin Burns. They would have done it for Dylan Cease, but they didn't. There's a big reason as to why they didn't trade either one of those guys. So trade Spencer Jones for those guys. Yeah. But I think Spencer Jones, I don't know. I know don't see him getting traded. I really don't, man. I know it's a possibility, but
that power and speed combo doesn't come by very often.
No.
So, I mean, how many guys we have in baseball do that? Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah, he's a rare one.
Can't think of anybody else. I can't. So
where is who playing next year? Spencer, you're talking about Spencer Jones there, Russ? If that's who you're talking about,
could still be in AAA. Could still get a call up. It depends.
Yeah.
It really depends on what happens with Cody Bellinger, right? And it also happens. Let's just say for giggles that they move on from Giancarlo Stanton at some point next year, right? It's highly unlikely, but
right.
There's Dominguez at bat right there. You move Dominguez to DH, and you have Spencer Jones because he is 2 miles ahead of Dominguez in terms of being an outfielder. He's as elite as it gets with the glove. So
he's talking about Jones. Yeah,
they will make room for Jones, but there's no way they're going to trade him for a rental.
Yeah, no.
There's no way in the world they're going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Jones. I don't know. There's a scenario where Jones could play. I mean, I'm sure the Yankees would try to find a way to play him. I mean, again, there's a reason why they haven't traded him. There's got to be a reason why they haven't traded him.
Well, let's just say Cody Bellinger opts out.
Yeah,
gets a bigger deal also. Then you have Jones and Dominguez in the outfield with Judge. That's it. And Jones gets center field. So, and then there's that too. So there are paths for Jones to get here right now. So, and it's just and Duran brought up a point too, up a little up ahead. What about Rafael Flores? He could be a trade chip. He could be, but he could also be a call-up guy because right now we're hearing, if you didn't hear this, Duran, the Yankees are fielding a lot of calls on JC Escar right now. If he gets traded, my first reaction is they'll bring up Flores to back up Austin Wells because of his arm. He has a cannon for an arm. So that's my take.
It's a possibility, and I see Jones getting called up in September when they expand the roster because they brought him up to AAA for a reason, man. I mean, he was doing well in AA. They called him up to AAA. He's killing it right now.
199 also. The strikeout rate is another narrative too. For those that don't know, if you've seen it, because a lot of people are not researching this and fact checking this, he cut the strikeout rate in half his last month of AA. He cut it from 40 to 20. He's under 30 right now in AAA. His strikeout rate is under 30. It's not 40%. So,
yeah, and people have to remember Judge was he struck out a lot too, a lot. Yeah. He still does strike out a lot, but not as bad as he used to. He has fixed that. But
and Spencer Jones is making adjustments in his swing, which is helping him, lower his strikeout rate. But right now, he's batting right now in AAA, batting .362 with 7 homers, 15 ribbies. 426 on base, 776 slugging. His OPS is 1,200. 1,200. So that's exactly the type of performance we need from a guy like Spencer Jones. In terms of his K rate here, it's under 30. Where is his strikeouts here? 20. And about 20 and 70 at bats. So it's under 30%. It's an under 30% K rate. So
yeah, no, he's improved on the K rate because that's been the biggest complaint.
Yeah,
about Spencer Jones was his K rate.
Yeah, and Jonathan makes an important point too. It's JC Escar has 5 years of control. That's big trade value, and as an elite framer with 5 years of control, he's going to be a gold mine for a team that acquires him.
And you ain't trading a guy with 5 years of control for a freaking rental. That's just not going to happen.
Spencer Jones at third base, he's a lefty with his arm. It's not going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, nah,
wouldn't that be outside the box, but that's not going to happen. Yeah, he's better in the outfield. Now, the only infield spot I would move would be to first base. But then, what do you do with Ben Rice?
Well,
I figured you were joking. You busting out chops, Steels.
Yeah, no, no, that guy is, Spencer Jones. Yeah, again, another puzzle for the Yankees to solve, right? I mean, I don't think the Yankees. It's been a long time since the Yankees have been in this kind of a situation where, where it's like they have all these guys. Now, what do they do? Whereas in the past, they've had garbage for.
Love you too, Steels.
Yeah, love you too, bro. Can't wait to have you on Thursday with the rest of the guests that I'm going to have. Jason from 161 is one of them. So Thursday we get to grade the players, grade the hitting coach, the pitching coach, Aaron Boone. So have fun, folks. Y'all get to grade too. So real quick, I didn't want to mention that. So Thursday at 7:30 East Coast time, it'll be myself, Jason from 161, Jason Custodio, Ace from the Ace Avenue, Max from Max Coverage TV, and TC Steels. So for those of you that don't know TC Steels, he used to go live with Hector in the morning shows, and him and that was a fun time with him and Hector. And I know TC had to he had to move on, which I totally understand, but still TC was always like a big part of those shows. And I remember I made a mention of it, and TC said he would love to jump on. And I said, absolutely, dude, because it's like, even though you may not jump on lives anymore, you still, you still are that guy. And, once in a while you'll make an appearance, dude. So
the presence is always felt, bro.
Yeah, for sure. So, you're getting
Coach Carl's an A+ coach. I'll tell you that right now. One of the best running coaches in high school in the country.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, no, I hear you talking about Coach Carl, and I thank you, Coach Carl. He says I rate this show A+. Thanks, man. Thank you so much. And TC still says he misses those days, dude. I miss it too, man. I miss it too. And but whenever I see you on, or whenever you jump on with me or something, it's always great to have you on, bro. It'll be a lot of fun, man. All six, you're getting like 6 great content creators. So it's a great looking panel too. I mean, they're great looking dudes. So, what more can you ask for? Y'all need somebody to model. Just hit us up.
You don't need to watch Magic Mike on Thursday. You don't.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. You've been on with me a whole bunch of times, Steels. Yeah, having you too, bro.
Yeah. So Thursday's gonna be a lot of fun, man. Thursday's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what everybody's grades are going to be. I'm curious to see, hopefully it's not just based on emotions. Hopefully it's just like, you watching the game, right? That's what I want. Ace says, is that why you got us together? Because we look good? Yeah, bro. I mean, we're a good looking panel.
Get your hair did, Ace. Get your hair did for Thursday. So
Ace, remember, we're twins, Ace. According to everybody, we're twins, you and I. Yeah. A lot of people keep saying that Ace and I are twins. I'm like, whatever you say.
Home run tonight. I'm gonna say Cal Raleigh hits a home run tonight. And probably O'Neal Cruz.
O'Neal Cruz. You don't see Judge hitting a home run?
I mean, I would love for Judge to hit a home run. I could see him hit a home run, just not off of Paul Skeens.
Yeah. Celia is saying, I'm with you guys. I don't know how much longer I can take it with Peraza. I hope they don't wait until the deadline. But the problem is, all the moves are gonna happen at the deadline. Yeah, the teams right now they're making calls. I mean, sure, they're checking in on other teams, but there's not going to be a whole lot of movement right now. Maybe one, but honestly, it's not gonna happen. Like the moves aren't gonna happen until the deadline. It's just the way it goes.
Teams are gonna hold on to their assets and they maybe even make somebody available that's not available now, and then you're gonna get teams to go like, oh my God, they're gonna drive up a bidding war for acquiring teams at the trade line. So people are gonna be willing to pay more. That they want the dude. So that's what's gonna be fun about being live on trade deadline day. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I wanted to ask this question about this year's draft. It's like I almost want to ask like what would you grade this? But to me, I feel like it would be so hard to grade it because it's like grading the drafts.
Oh yeah,
it's hard because it's like okay, teams are drafting players to fill needs, right? But truthfully, the only way you could grade this draft is how these guys develop
Yeah.
in the future, and how these guys perform in the minor league levels, how they perform at the major league levels. So it's like I can't really give a grade.
No, look how it differs from NFL. There's no minor leagues in the NFL.
No, right? You just go straight to the pros from there, man.
And that's why they have, that's why they only have 7 rounds, and in the NBA they only have 2 rounds. There's the developmental league, but like there's a reason why there's 20 rounds in baseball, because there's so many levels of minor leagues that developmentally need to take place. Whereas if you're 7'3", you're very likely going to make the NBA.
Yo, 100%.
7'3" and you're 260 pounds, yeah, you're probably going to make it. So unless your name is Mark Eaton, even though he was terrible, he was like 7'5" and couldn't dunk. So, but he still played in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And what would make it easier to grade this draft is if in the next CBA they made it easier, or they made it possible for these guys to trade draft picks, right? Like the NBA.
Ooh, yeah, because they don't do that in Major League Baseball. You can't trade draft picks.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like in the NFL draft, it's like we have a trade. Somebody just traded up to number 1. They get rid of this draft pick and buy it. And if you could do that in baseball, it would be a heck of a lot more fun.
Agreed.
So,
100%.
Maybe they'll do that. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll find. I mean, that'll be cool to have. And another thing that they're gonna talk about, and this thing with Rob Manfred bringing up the salary cap for baseball. Maybe we could talk a little bit more about that during the off season, because that's been like a big conversation. And I love to talk about that. And Russ Morgan brings up only comp picks, like trading for. I think he's saying trading comp picks.
And Coach Carl has a question too. Why doesn't the NFL have a minor league? It's a good question. I mean, personally, I think if you look at the majority of the players who are drafted in college, they're juniors, and seniors, right? So developmentally, there's really no step to go aside from the NFL.
And this is a good point. NFL has the practice squads.
They do have practice squads, so that could be that could ascend. That's a good point too, Steels.
Yeah, and maybe if I might be wrong on this, but also football players, I feel like their careers are much shorter.
Yeah, shelf life is shorter. Yeah.
So you have to. That's why you don't. Maybe that's another reason why you don't have like these minor league teams for football. Mm-hmm. Because these guys these guys want to get out there and play, and their shelf life. I mean, they don't have a whole lot of playing time. A lot of football players. Their careers are shorter. They're much shorter compared to baseball players.
And in basketball, you're either in a developmental league or they'll stash you like in Europe somewhere. You're gonna go play in Turkey, or you're gonna go play in Rwanda. You're gonna go play in Greece, right? Mm-hmm. Some of the better places in Europe to play, where the players can develop and come back here with a whole different perspective, like in Turkey and Greece and France and those are places they just stash players and develop extremely well. They come back here with a much better skill set, basketball, and they bring more value. So that generally is how they do in basketball too. Yeah, it's just a different sport and a different sport, different different development. It's not the same. Baseball is unique in that sense, though. You draft guys from college, but then they go into those teams' minor league systems. They work their way up the system, and then they hopefully they get a chance to play at the major league level. How they perform at the major league level, that's a whole different thing. So there is a development process there. So baseball is very unique in that. So I again, it's hard to grade a draft. I know this year's draft was very interesting. Especially, they still drafted a good amount of pitchers. They still drafted 10. Yeah. So half of the draft was still pitchers. So, but the 5 shortstops though, that really got I'm sure noticeable.
Very noticeable. I'm sure I'm not the only one whose attention that was caught. Like that wasn't only. I'm sure it caught a lot of people's attention. But 5 shortstops is very, very telling.
And 4 of them are college. And their first 2 picks were shortstops.
Yeah, that Kilby, he's from high school, right? So Dax Kilby's he's straight from high school. So to be drafted from high school, That tells me something, man. To be drafted from high school.
I think his ceiling is higher than Keenan Kentz's offensively. He's one of the
Okay.
more advanced prep bats in the whole draft. So, and again, him and Keenan Kent, they're lefties. They're known for being contact hitters, which is
and Kent's from Texas A&M. Like and Texas A&M is a big deal.
It's SEC, right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. It's got to be SEC.
I think so. I did again. Definitely a noticeable. That was the one thing I noticed most in the draft, aside from not having any flashy picks or anything like that. There was a couple of guys like Jack Bauer, who was the top high school arm in the draft, like 103 miles an hour. I don't think he was drafted at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was talking to Jonathan about that a lot on draft day. And where's Jack Bauer going? I don't think he got picked at all. He was throwing 103 miles an hour as high schooler. He's a lefty. So maybe he gets picked up as an undrafted free agent by somebody. Maybe he just goes back to college or goes to college, period.
Yeah. Well, who knows what these teams are looking at, what these scouts are looking at. I mean, with this guy throwing 103 miles per hour, maybe, again, the guy throwing 103 miles per hour, maybe there was something that scouts of these teams they're not liking.
Maybe he's got violent mechanics that can lead to injury. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. But with the two pitchers that I looked at with Rory and Pico Khan, man, those guys, like I just, love their command on the mound. They have good control. Their mechanics on the mound. It looks fantastic, man. Those are the only two guys that I looked at really on the pitching side. And then I looked at Kent and Kilby because, again, back to back draft picks from the Yankees first and third round. And they chose shortstop, and obviously, like I said earlier in the show, with Keaton Kent being Jeff Kent's son, I'm like, and from being Texas A&M, that's an SEC right there, the Southeastern Conference. So,
good baseball,
so that's a good baseball family right there. And then with Kilby being drafted out of high school, that's a big deal, man, to be drafted out of high school. So these guys. I think they have a lot of potential. I think these guys can, I think they will, depending on how they develop, I think they'll serve well, as long as their development goes according to plan. So,
George Lombard was also drafted at high school.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's something there, but any other guys in the draft that really, like, you were just like, man, I can't wait to see this guy. This guy has a lot of upside and potential.
Couple of projects.
Okay.
Ruben Morris from Blinn College. He's the only JUCO prospect. He's 6'8", 265 pounds. He's a big boy, 22-year-old. He has no stats for 2025, but all signs are pointing towards him being a dominant pitcher. But I think it's going to be a project for someone like Matt Blake to work with. Drew Lazanik, too, his son, I think is going to be a project to work with. Crafty guy. And there's another guy, where is it I mentioned? Blake Gillespie.
Yes.
Right-handed pitcher from Charlotte at 131 strikeouts and 100 innings pitched. He was 7.4 with a 2.51 ERA this year. He's a right-handed pitcher. Was also a junior. So he's another guy I would keep an eye on as well, as to see. And again, like, we'll see in a couple weeks which one of these guys pops up in the Yankees' top 30 prospects, right? It was to give you an idea of how they're valued. So generally it takes a few weeks. I remember when Ben Hess and Bryce Cunningham, they were immediately placed in the top 10, and they haven't left. So I'm curious to see where some of these guys are going to go in the top 30. How many make the top 30?
Yeah, and another name that that I'll mention to you is Mac Hewer. He's a Texas Tech guy.
Yeah, he's also a big boy, 6'4", 260 pounds.
He's another one, right? Because I'm looking at the Texas teams, or any of the ones that are in the SEC. Because again, those guys are, they got something, man. They have something in their caliber. So
he hits 99 with the radar gun too, Mac Hewer. So
and the Yankees need guys like that could throw 98, 99 without blowing up their arm, of course. But they need some guys like that. But I don't know, man. It's like I said, I think it's hard to grade a draft. I know the Yankees tend to draft down there in the bottom, but again, that's because they have winning records every year. So whenever fans are saying, well, why couldn't the Yankees draft this top guy? Or why? Well, they have to be one of the worst teams of baseball to draft. So if you want them to be the worst team of baseball, then cool. But and they get first dibs on these guys. So take your pick.
I was just gonna say, let's see how many of these guys the Yankees actually sign.
That's the other thing. They're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna sign all these guys. But I think they'll sign. I think they'll sign Kilby and Kent.
I think so too.
Their first three, I think they're going to sign. I think Kilby, Kent, Pico Khan, Rory Fox. I think they'll sign. Connor McGinnis might be another one.
Yeah, last year they signed everybody but one. So we'll see.
I think Kyle West. I think he's going to be another one because he's a first baseman. I think he's another guy that they'll potentially go after.
Lefty bats a .339 hitter, so 1088 OPS from West Virginia. So college boy, and that's good, man. That's it.
I think they'll sign a good amount. Almost all the pitching that they drafted. I think they'll sign all those guys personally.
I hope they sign Richard Bonamalo too, the outfielder from University of Alabama.
Ooh, yeah.
I hope they sign the majority of these guys too.
And Doran is adding here trade suggestion. I just read. He says Schlittler, Cade Smith, Selvage for Suarez and Gallen. I'm not including Schlittler in that trade or Selvage. I'll give them Lalane.
I think the Diamondbacks would say yes to that. I think
they would. I'm saying no.
Yeah, Yankees would say no.
That is a hell no for me. So yeah.
Same here. And Celia, you're right. The Red Sox are looking pretty scary right now, but they need pitching too. Yeah. They need pitching. So they can get somebody to put behind Garrett Crochet, then and that's better than Walker Buehler, then they'll be a pretty tough team. Let's just say they try to. And now Edward Cabrera from the Marlins was the guy that was tells the guy he's got control for years that he's a trade piece, but he left yesterday's game with elbow discomfort. The day before with elbow discomfort. So
who was that? That was
Edward Cabrera, the other big.
Oh yeah. So he might be a TJS guy.
Yeah, he's off. He's going to be off the market now. So making
that
it
sucks, man.
The price is going to go higher for Sandy Alcantara now.
Yeah, and personally, I don't think the Yankees should go after Sandy Alcantara.
I wouldn't do it either.
I wouldn't freaking do it. There's no way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I think. But yeah, man, we've been live for over an hour and a half, and I appreciate folks hanging out with us throughout this whole time. Yeah, you guys and gals are awesome. Thank you so much. I got Jason from 161, and we'll be live again. We'll be live again together on Thursday with the other guys. So that should be a lot of fun, So I gotta get my players and my grades. I think I know already. I gotta go down the list here. But
I'm almost done with my list. I'm like 2/3 of the way to my list. Oh.
For sure, man. For sure. Anything else you want to add, man, before we close things out? Any thoughts?
I would say
concerns, questions.
I would just say to keep an open mind at the trade deadline, and I would wait until the last day, the last minute to see how to grade anything. There's going to be a lot of chatter over the next 2 weeks over, who the Yankees should get, who they're not going to get. This is going to be chatter from a lot of uninformed places. So I wouldn't take any of it as gospel. So I would just wait and see what the Yankees, instead of waiting to see what people say, I wait and see what the Yankees do. That'll give us a better idea of, how serious they are. And that's what I encourage folks to do. Just let's hang out. Let's wait and see what the Yankees do. And again, the only time they can make trades is when other teams make their players available. So it takes two to tango. So the other team, the other GMs have to, unleash, loosen up the leash on some of their players. And then, because I wish Cashman would just say, send that guy over. Send him over.
Yeah.
I wish it was that easy, but it's not. So.
Yeah. And and personally, I don't want Cashman's job. It seems stressful.
And there's a reason why he doesn't talk much to the media. There's a reason why, aside from Boone's post games, he doesn't tell much to the media. There's a reason why Hal never addresses the media. They're not going to give people, fodder to run with and create their own conspiracy theories on. They're not going to do that. This is why they're so tight-lipped on stuff, right? So it goes back to me encouraging folks to just, instead of relying on what people say, let's see what the Yankees actually do. I think that's going to be, we'll get the best idea there. No.
Yeah.
Thank you as always, people. Thank you for your constant contributions. Your contributions are invaluable. We appreciate all the stuff all your feedback and your insights always here, my channel, everywhere. It's folks like you that make our channels great. So we thank you.
Yeah, no, we do we do appreciate it. I greatly appreciate it. I always appreciate everybody, all you folks that chime in. So and get involved in the chats. It does mean a lot. What up there, David Cohen? You just popped in. We're just about to end it here, bro. I've been live with Jason for over an hour and a half, actually.
Yeah.
So we're almost approaching that 2-hour mark, and I know he's probably got some stuff to do. I got stuff to do. I gotta get running here, but I am gonna end it here. Again, Jason. Yeah.
Thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. I was gonna say, thanks for jumping on with me, dude, and thanks for taking the time. I figured I hit you up yesterday. I was just like, let me see if he's available. You know what I'm saying? Like, go live at 10:30, and if he's available, great. Let's talk about it.
I'll always make the time for you, brother. I'll always make the time for you, man.
My man, thank you. I appreciate it. And anytime I'm able to jump on with you, I'm gonna try and make it happen.
Thank you to everybody in the chat too. You guys, you folks are the best.
Yeah, you guys and gals are the best. Everybody, have a great Tuesday. Go outside, get some air, enjoy the day. The All-Star game is tonight, so hopefully all you get to tune into that. Have fun with watching the All-Star game.
Go American League.
Go AL, exactly. Go American League. Let's see what happens tonight. And baseball season will resume on Friday. So the Yankees will go visit the Braves. Yep, on a 3-game set. And shout out to my man Raziel too, who just popped in, but we're about to jump out of here, bro. Sorry. But we'll see you all on Thursday. And if I do go live before Thursday, just keep on the lookout for it. You never know. So just keep your notifications on. But thank you all very much. Make sure you guys, I know the majority of you already subscribed to Jason's channel, but if you're not subscribed, go check him out.
Thank you.
Go check out his channel. And please subscribe to mine. Channel is growing slowly but surely. We're on the road to, the big goal is that 2,000 mark. So hopefully we could get there sooner rather than later. But thank you all very much. Enjoy your day. We'll see you all next time. And as always, let's go Yankees.